We remember the Cyclops, one eye, a cave, 6 dead men. We call this the defining tragedy of the Odyssey. We are wrong. Polyphemus was a skirmish, a bad night. Losing 6 men is a rounding error in a war fleet. The real tragedy? The event that broke the mind of Odysseus and turned a conqueror into a refugee is the massacre at Telepylos. No one talks about it. It's too fast. It's too brutal. It lacks the hero's journey structure. There is no riddle. There is no trick. There are only the Laestrygonians. They didn't eat 6 men. They destroyed 11 ships. They butchered over 500 veterans of the Trojan War. They did it in less than 1 hour. This is not an adventure. This is the single greatest loss of life in Greek mythology's most famous epic. To understand the scale of the collapse, look at the logistics. Odysseus commands a squadron of 12 ships. These are pentaconters, 50-oared galleys, low to the water, fast, built for raiding. Each ship carries 50 rowers, plus officers, plus the loot from Troy. The force is roughly 600 men. This is a battalion. A force this size captures cities. They have survived the 10-year siege of Troy. They survived the raid on Ismarus. They survived the Lotus Eaters. They survived the Cyclops. The fleet is battered, but the chain of command holds. The structure is intact. They are a military unit sailing north, desperate for a harbor. They find Telepylos. Homer describes a glorious harbor, a natural amphitheater of rock. Precipitous cliffs surround a glassy lagoon on 3 sides. 2 jutting headlands create a bottleneck entrance, so narrow only 1 ship can pass at a time. To a sailor, this looks like salvation. Inside the breakwater, there is no swell, no waves, a perfect, silent mirror. The captains of 11 ships make the tactical choice. They row through the bottleneck. They moor side by side in the dead water. They tie the ships together, gunwale to gunwale. A floating city, intimate, safe. Odysseus refuses. He does not enter the lagoon. He keeps the black ship outside the harbor walls. He moors it to a rock on the exposed cliffside. He isolates himself from his fleet. He doesn't do this because he knows what's coming. He does it because he is paranoid. He is a man who trusts nothing that looks this perfect. That paranoia is the only reason there is a story left to tell. 3 scouts go inland, 2 chosen men and a herald. Standard protocol: find the locals, check for bread eaters, the code for civilization, and negotiate for water. They find a beaten path. They see smoke. They meet a girl drawing water at a spring called Artacia. She is large. Homer says tall as a mountain peak, but she isn't hostile. She points them to her father's hall. The father is King Antiphates. The scouts enter the palace. They expect a parley. They expect the ritual of Xenia, guest friendship. Antiphates enters. He does not speak. He does not ask their names. He does not ask where they came from. He snatches the first scout, rips him apart, and drinks his blood. This is the deviation. The Cyclops asked questions. The Sphinx told riddles. Circe uses potions. The villains of mythology usually want something. Antiphates only wants calories. He eats the man raw. The other 2 scouts sprint for the door. They run for the ships. Antiphates does not chase them. He raises the cry throughout the city. The Lestrygonians answer. They are not a family of solitary monsters. They are a populous tribe. They swarm out of the rocks, out of the timber, thousands of them. They do not run to the beach. They run to the cliffs. They take the high ground. The geography of the harbor transforms from a shelter into a kill box. 11 ships are packed together in the center of the lagoon, stationary targets. The crews are asleep or resting on the decks. The sky darkens. The Laestrygonians do not use bows. They use the landscape. They pry boulders from the cliff edge, rocks the size of millstones, the size of chariots. They drop them. Gravity does the work. The stones hit the packed ships with the force of artillery. Homer describes a terrible din, the sound of seasoned timber snapping, the sound of holes crushing, the sound of 500 men screaming at once. The ships are tied together. This is the fatal error. As one ship is crushed and begins to sink, it drags the neighboring ship down with it. The rigging tangles. The oars shatter. There is no room to maneuver. The narrow exit is blocked by debris. The water churns with wood splinters and blood. Men jump into the water to escape the crushing timbers. They surface in a sea of wreckage. The bombardment stops. The ships are destroyed. The resistance is over. Now, the Lestrygonians descend from the cliffs. They come down to the water's edge. They carry spears. Homer uses a specific domestic image here. He does not say they fought the men. He He says they speared them like fish. Spearfishing is not combat. It is harvesting. It is quiet. It is rhythmic. The giants stand on the shoreline and stab the swimming survivors. They impale them and lift them wriggling from the water. They string them together to carry back to the city for the feast. There is no glory here. No single combat, no chance for valor. The heroes of Troy, the men who breached the Scaean gates, are skewered like tuna. Odysseus watches from the open sea. Odysseus stands on the deck of the black ship. He sees the trap close. He sees the water turn red. He hears his captains dying. He does not fire an arrow. He does not launch a rescue. He knows the math. 11 ships are gone. If he enters the narrow channel, the 12th ship dies too. He draws his sword. He walks to the prow of his ship and hacks through the hawser rope. He cuts the anchor cable. He turns to his crew. He screams at them. Row! Row for your lives or sink with them! The crew of the black ship digs in. They row in a panic. They drive the ship away from the cliffs, away from the harbor, into the open ocean. They leave 500 men behind to be eaten. They do not look back. To look back is to slow down. To slow down is to die. In 1 hour, Odysseus ceases to be an admiral. He loses most of his men. He loses his leverage. He loses his confidence. When the black ship finally stops, miles out at sea, there is no celebration. There is only the silence of a crew that knows they survived by cowardice. They survived because their captain was too paranoid to park with his friends. This moment explains everything that follows. Critics ask why Odysseus stays with Circe for a year. They ask why he seems to lose his urgency to return to Ithaca. He is in shock. He arrives at Circe's island in the very next chapter. He is not a hero on a quest. He is a shell-shocked survivor hiding from a universe that just tried to eat him. He sends men inland to scout Circe's palace, but he stays by the ship. He is terrified of the interior. The Laestrygonians broke him. We ignore this story because it is uncomfortable. The Cyclops flatters our ego. Intelligence defeats brute strength. Telepylos destroys our ego. It tells us that intelligence doesn't matter. Bravery doesn't matter. Sometimes you sail into the wrong harbor, the rocks fall, and you die. The Laestrygonians represent the indifference of nature, the absolute crushing reality of chaos. Odysseus did not survive because he was smart. He survived because he cut the rope. He realized that the fleet was dead weight. He realized that loyalty was a suicide pact. The lesson of the Red Wedding is not about fighting monsters. It is about the brutality of survival. When the cliffs crumble and the water boils, the hero doesn't save everyone. The hero draws his sword, cuts the line, and rows away.